Hey everyone, I'm back and we are back on the Y Knot. After the last video, I went ahead and knew we needed to extend the wires. So I went ahead and used LEDs. That will give us, for the front, plenty of wire. I mean, there's a lot of wire in here to get to the flight controller, no problem, or the ESE. But on the back there was not, because you're coming off the arm here and then down, and they literally only went to about here. Excuse me. And we need them to go all the way up to here, and hopefully in the video you can see here's the two holes right here, right even with that, to for the rear. But there's another problem, sorry about that. These arms, the way they are in here, this limits your space that you have between here to mount your flight stack. And I found out that using the Kakute, well, the flight controller would work, the ESE would not. It's too wide. So what I had on hand that I hadn't used yet is a Mamba. Yeah, see, this is where we're gonna have problems with this. The Mamba, this is the F40 4-in-1, which is a 40 amp ESC. It's only D-shot up to 600, which is kind of a bummer. Then it'll still fly fine. And 3 to 6S. And then our flight controller is the pretty typical flight controller, but it's the Mamba 4 power tower, and you can get these for like 45 bucks. They're really hard to beat price wise. And I've used them on a couple of builds and have not had any problems. You've got lots of filtering on it. Pretty clean little setup, really. Downside is it's very hard to read these, but there is a diagram online, so it's not really that big a deal. So that's what we're gonna do, because this, there's the battery side, there's the battery side, and we're gonna use that for the top. This will fit between those mounts, so that's what we're going to do. And it'll be back quite a ways in there, right about there. So yeah, so you have to take everything apart, and like I said, this is what's going to make this build difficult, because you have to take this apart in order to get to, that's interesting. Those don't want to come apart, which is fine. That means they fit tight. This one doesn't fit as tight. Yeah, that one's kind of loose in there. Actually, it slides back and forth. But anyway, we can set that aside. We don't need that right now. What we need is this. So we could do, again, I said this before when I went over the frame, you can do a 20 by 20. And I have a 20 by 20, but I might as well use this. So that's going to be there, and then that'll go on top of it. And it makes for a pretty low stack. Obviously, I got my little kit here to get my spacing and all that done. And I actually might do this. I ended up getting a bunch of these aluminum standoffs of different heights. There's actually, I got 2 heights in here, if that even shows up. This one's a little shorter, and I have some red ones, so maybe do that. Yeah, maybe do that, because this is red, but I don't, yeah, I got the bigger ones in red too, I think. Maybe not. Maybe it's going to be really colorful. Anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and stop it there. Hey, so that was actually really easy. All I had was green, but it looks cool, I think. So I used regular 3mm screws through the bottom into the short standoffs. Then went with the taller ones here with an O-ring, a silicone O-ring in here, because of the filtering that's on this. They were touching these and I didn't want that, so those are silicone, harder silicone, so they'll do fine. I probably didn't need to use these little nuts on the top, but being with the silicone inserts, I didn't screw them down very tight, and that will stop them from coming loose. And we still have a little bit of movement in there. It's like I said, I didn't crank them down or anything. So I just got to figure out my wiring on the top here and where I'm going to put things. Like I said, I really do want to run this receiver on the back for sure. On here, this is the rear assembly, and of course it goes down through here. So if I mount my receiver on this side, being that it's TBS, the Crossfire Nano, it'll fit just fine in there. That's what I like about these, is they're super small. That right there. So that will very easily mount there. I don't know if they put these in for motor wires to go through or zip ties, but zip ties is what it's going to be on the back here. And then we're using, this was the high voltage. This will do up to a 6S. But I think everything that's on this is 5 volt, which means that we're just kind of wasting the VTX, but yeah, 5 volt ground, video out. I think I have another one of these. It's a 5 volt, but nonetheless, size wise, that'll mount right there on it too without any problem. So I'll get that figured out which way I want to go. Then I need to do my wiring off of here going forward to okay, so if this is the front of the quad, and imagine the other arms on there, this is still a quad, so I mean, you still do your motors and everything the same way. So this is motor 1, this is motor 2, motor 3, motor 4. So we're up there, and then these first 3, and then those will go to the next and there, and so it'll look nice. I still don't know yet how I'm going to do the power wire out, the plug. Yes, I do. I have exactly what we need for that, and I will show you when I come back. In the meantime, I'm going to do what we just talked about. See you in a few. Hey guys, I'm back. Alright, so I've got it all built up. Not everything went the way I had planned it, but I did get the receiver in here, which is perfect. This is a new antenna mount. It's Airblade that's doing them. It's on a little swivel, so you can twist it and turn it and it doesn't break. So when you're not flying, you can flip it down sideways, and then for your best reception, when you're getting ready to fly, you flip it up and down like that. So they say that's the best reception instead of sideways. Here's what I came up with for the pigtail, or for your battery. It's I got this from Hobby, can't remember the name of the place. They're a big place, multi-star and stuff like that came from them. It's set up to slip on a 30 or a 3mm standoff. So it's got that hole built into the side of it, and so you've got some flex in it. Really works well because you put your battery on there and it just reaches around, stays totally out of the way. None of the props can get to it, so that was why I put that on there. The VTX ended up being up here in the front. Just use double-sided tape and then a zip tie around it. The reason for that is that I was talking about this for your VTX or your FPV feed. There's these plates that come with the frame, and they go in. You see you got 2 little notches there and 2 on the bottom, and they just go in there. And I do like the fact that they're not super fit in there. They have some leeway, and I just stuck this on there because I needed to throw an antenna on it for while I was testing it. I have test flown it, and it was a very short one because it started raining on me. It flew. I didn't go anywhere with it. It was all line of sight, but so I extended my wires over here. The corner one, I just soldered it on there, and then the other 2 I wrapped behind the standoff and put them in there. Did all 4 the same way. So that's really it. What I didn't think about when I set this up, I went out to test fly it, and it wanted to flip itself over, and so I thought, well, I must have gotten one of the arms in the wrong place or something. Got back into Betaflight to check, make sure all my motors were right, because I thought they were, and I found in the configurator tab, let's hook this up. I'm only bringing this up because if any of you want to build it, you're going to need to know this. You might not have figured it out as fast as I did. So let's go over here to the configurator. My thing doesn't want to stay where I put it. Alright. Sorry about moving the camera so much. Okay, so see the V? Pretty cool, huh? Kind of looks like a smile, because we smile now. So now you can see what it actually is. Now, so in your ports tab, not your ports, your settings tab or configuration, you actually need to change it to V-tail. I had no idea there was even a V-tail in there. All I knew about was a regular quad and a Y4, because I'm building one of those too, not of this frame, but kind of a homemade style. But so you want a V-tail quad, and once I did that, you see the motors actually are reversed from normal, and so you need to reverse your props as well. Again, what I was saying before was on these you've got writing on the top. That's the top of the prop.